what's up, everyone? It's Georgio, your friendly neighborhood YouTuber, and I am back with another wrestling pay-per-view review for WWE, and it's for their Super Showdown pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. And the funny thing about this whole review right here is I've recorded this intro like 2 or 3 times because that's just how crazy pissed off this pay-per-view had me towards the end. And I was going to start with the first match, but I'm going to talk about the main event because you guys, I literally just got through watching it, and what I saw from Goldberg and Undertaker was just downright horrible and unacceptable. And you know why? Because Goldberg, he botched the Tombstone Pile Driver, and it's like, how do you botch a Tombstone Pile Driver? And another thing is they were only out there for a couple of minutes once the bell started. You know, Goldberg, he got busted up because he had tried to hit the spear on the Undertaker, but he ran into the second turnbuckle. I don't think he bladed himself, but he definitely had a gusher on his face. And I think that was because, you know, before he comes out, Goldberg likes to hit the door before coming out or whatever. So, I don't know what happened there. But the match started out with, Goldberg, he hit 2 spears on the Undertaker, and I thought that this match was going to be a squash match, which it should have been, because what we saw was just, I don't know how that even got past Vince, to be honest with you. And, it was at a decent speed. The match was at first, but then it just went downhill from there. And I think what really messed it up for me was when I saw Goldberg botch that, the tombstone. And of course, when Undertaker, he hit all his little moves. He hit the tombstone, but Goldberg kicked out. And then, of course, after that, like I said, that botched tombstone, I think the Undertaker was pissed off, that Goldberg messed that up. And so when Undertaker went for the choke slam, it looked like he half-ass did it. He didn't lift him all the way up in the air like he normally would do. He just barely lifted him and dropped him, and then 1, 2, 3, and that was the end of the match. And I do understand. You have to also keep in mind, though, to be fair, it is like 100 or 101 degrees out there in Saudi Arabia. So, that could play a role. But the thing is, these guys were not out there that long. They was only out there for a few minutes, like I said. So, I don't know, man. I'm literally speechless. I can't even think of the right words anymore now, because now you guys know why I'm just against paying for the WWE Network anymore. Is because you have all these excitement for some of these matches, and then to find out they don't live up to the hype. And I can understand and sympathize with the Game of Thrones fans, because I feel their pain. You go in hoping to get this cool outcome, and then you just get crap. It's just ridiculous, you guys. But I had to start off this review by talking about the main event, because honestly, that's what a lot of us was interested in. We wanted to see who will win. So yeah, I was very disappointed by that. And you guys know I'm a big Goldberg fan, I'm a big WCW fan, but this match should have just been a squash match. And it was sad to see Goldberg in that state. And you can look on Undertaker's face and look at his body language at the end of that match, and you could tell that he was very disappointed with how that match turned out. I can only imagine what Undertaker is saying and doing backstage right now as we speak. Anyways, I don't know how we're going to recover from that, but if you guys don't see any more pay-per-view reviews after my network subscription is up in September, then at least you'll know why. But anyways, let's go all the way back up to the doggone pre-show, because I would say one of the best matches on this card was the Usos versus the Revival. You guys definitely need to, go and check out that match because, that match really did deliver. That was probably great tag team action. The Usos had that crowd hype, and WWE did good by sending the Usos out there as the first match because that really helped get the crowd into the show, and that shows you just how good the Usos are, not just in the ring, but with their characters and stuff. And the Revival, they did really great there too. It was good to see the Usos get the win there, and I really enjoyed that matchup. Um, then of course we have the main show, which was, which the first match was actually Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin for the Universal title, and of course Seth, he had tape around his ribs from the horrible vicious attack by Brock Lesnar from Raw, and we all thought Brock was gonna cash in, which he did attempt, but Paul Heyman had the briefcase and he slipped on the way getting in the ring, and so Brock got distracted by that, which allowed Seth Rollins to beat the crap out of Brock with the steel chair. And of course, Seth was able to beat Baron Corbin because Baron Corbin was getting in the referee's face, and then the referee told him, "Don't be fucking with me." And then, so that gave Seth Rollins the chance to get that roll up pin for the 1, 2, 3. So the match was okay, and it teased that a lot of people thought that maybe Brock was going to cash in later in the night against Kofi Kingston, which that didn't happen. And I will explain when at the end of this review on when I think Brock is going to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase. But if you guys have any different ideas, feel free to put them in the comment section and we can discuss it there, hopefully. But anyways, match number 2 is Andrade versus the Demon King, Finn Balor. And oh yeah, before I go into what I thought about this match, I will say that the ring the ring did not have a good sound for a majority of the matches for some reason. It just didn't sound right. I don't know if it was because of the network, WWE Network buffering or something, but the ring didn't sound as loud as they normally do, whenever you watch Raw, SmackDown. I don't know if it's because they was outside in the stadium and maybe the ring sound just went into the air, but that was just something that I noticed, and I guess in that case you can't do anything about it, but I digress. Anyways, match 2, of course, Andrade versus Demon King, Finn Balor. It was really cool to see that Demon King character. I love that character. I hate that we can only see that character at like Summer Slams or even WrestleMania or this show. But that's the character that should be on TV often. I know they can't do the entrance with that character, the lengthy entrance, that the Demon King character has, but they can create a shortened version of it. I think that would be cool. And plus, it wouldn't take him long to get to the ring because on normal shows the ramp is not long. But as far as this match though for the IC title, the crowd was dead. This, I don't think Andrade and Finn Balor, even with this Demon King character, have good in-ring chemistry when it comes to keeping the crowd interested in the match. And this crowd did a great job of showing their excitement for the matches and stuff. And even in this one, even when there was dead spots and stuff, they still tried their best to stay interested. And I do give the Saudi Arabia fans a big shout out for showing a lot of enthusiasm, because they only get a chance to see WWE live once a year, maybe twice a year, I think. And they know that they may not get another chance to see this show. So, of course, they're going to be extra excited, as many of us might be going to a WWE live event or whatever. But, I did see Finn Balor. He did hit this really cool suplex type of move off the top rope, which allowed him to get that coup de grace little stomp maneuver on Andrade for the win. That match definitely had me bored. And I don't know if it's because these guys don't match up well. I don't know what it was. They did. It went on too long for one, and at the pace that they were going, it should have been better. But anyways, now we got match 3, Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon, what I believe is the second best match on the card. This match was surprisingly very good. We saw Shane doing some really good moves. He was on point. He didn't mess up anything. He was in good in-ring shape, which is very important because, you could be in you can have rippling abs and all of that, but if you're not in ring shape, it's gonna look really bad on TV. Roman and Shane, they did an excellent job in this matchup. Um, the crowd was into it. Shane, he even hit a really nice spear on Roman Reigns, and then he attempted to go for a coast to coast, but Roman Reigns countered and hit him with a Superman punch. And then, of course, Shane, he ended up distracting the referee, which allowed Drew McIntyre to come in there and hit Roman with the Claymore kick, which allowed Shane McMahon to get the victory. And even though Shane had help and everything, it was still a really good match. And these two guys have nothing to be ashamed of. And they did a little promotional for WWE Stomping Ground, where they'll have Roman Reigns. He'll be facing Drew McIntyre again, which I do not understand why they keep doing that matchup like that. It's like they face each other. They done fought each other so many times already. And then, of course, they had an advertisement for Alexa Bliss versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. So I knew it wasn't going to be long before we saw Alexa Bliss back in the title picture. Hopefully Bayley wins and she can keep the belt a little bit longer, because we don't need another situation like what happened to her the last time she was Raw Women's Champion, So, yeah. And then, of course, we had match number 4, which is that 3-on-1 handicap match with the Lucha House Party versus Lars Sullivan. And the Lucha under the what the hell they are, godly, their names confuse me, because AEW has a tag team called the Lucha Brothers, and WWE has a tag team called the Lucha House Party. But anyways, the Lucha House Party gained up on Lars Sullivan, which ended up in a deep disqualification. They all hit their signature moves on them, and then they tried to escape, but they didn't get out of the arena fast enough, because Lars Sullivan was behind them like the Incredible Hulk, and he just threw them all across the ringside area and left them laying in a very bad way. So yeah, it was okay. I think that was just a filler match. I do want to see Lars Sullivan face guys like Braun or even Bobby Lashley at some point. It's gonna get boring seeing him beat up these small dudes. But I understand they're trying to build him up as this big man, and so that's understandable. But anyways, now we got match number 5, another match that I was looking forward to somewhat. Triple H versus Randy Orton. They started off the match at slow, medium speed, and it was a methodical pace. They told a good story. They didn't start it off really fast, which is what you want to do when you got a guy like Triple H who doesn't wrestle all the time, and you got Randy Orton who does wrestle kind of often. They did good, and I think that's what they should have did with the Goldberg match. They should have started off slow, then built it up. They should have started off slow, built it up little by little, and then they could have went home with whatever they was trying to do. But I think that was just a case of them not being in ring shape. They both looked good, Goldberg and Undertaker did, but they weren't in ring shape like that. But I think Triple H and Orton is, because we've seen them, in the ring in the past few months or so. But Triple H, he worked Randy Orton's shoulder quite a bit in this matchup, and because they went off the storylines of Orton, he's had shoulder surgery before and everything in the past years. And then after that, Triple H, he repeatedly back suplexed Randy Orton on the announcer's table, because Orton did that earlier in the matchup where he kind of baited Triple H to the outside of the ring and tried to do the same thing. So of course, from there, I think Triple H took way too much time. He should have stayed on Orton. So as soon as he got in the ring, Triple H tried to run towards him, and Randy Orton hit him with an RKO for the 1-2-3. So that was good to see Orton get the win here, because Triple H has beaten Randy Orton in the previous matches that they've had in the past. So I really liked this match. It was pretty decent. And then Braun Strowman faced off against Lashley. I like this match too. It wasn't too long. Very hard hitting. These guys did great. And it's crazy because they say Braun is like 300 something pounds. And the dude can run around that ring like a cruiserweight, man. Like, he's super fast. And I think it's because he's young too. That has something to do with it. But the guy does not get gassed up. Like, that's something amazing to see from a man of his size. He doesn't get gassed up. They're in good in-ring shape. And I think it's because they're constantly wrestling. They're constantly in the loop, of so to speak. And yeah, I thought that match was decent too. It wasn't bad. It was something that you go, watch or whatever, And of course, so yeah, Braun, he ended up winning that matchup, and with the power slam and stuff. So yeah, it was fine. And then of course we had match number 7, which was Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler for the for the WWE World Heavyweight title. And this match was back and forth. It had some pretty decent action. I think Dolph Ziggler, he did a good job of controlling the offense for a good part of the matchup. Then Kofi ended up fighting back for a bit. They ended up outside of the ring. And from there, Xavier Woods tried to assert himself into the match by giving Kofi Kingston an advantage, and which allowed Kofi Kingston to hit the Trouble in Paradise kick on Dolph Ziggler to get the win. So yeah, the match was okay, but you could tell now they're going to have a second match without Xavier Woods involved, and it's going to be a steel cage match at the Stomping Ground pay-per-view. And it's funny because some people on Twitter was thinking maybe Brock was gonna cash in on this match at the end, but it didn't happen because Lesnar music would have hit immediately after the match was over. But I think Brock Lesnar might cash in. I think Brock Lesnar is going to cash in at the Stomping Ground pay-per-view at the end of the steel cage match. I can see Kofi Kingston winning that matchup, and then as soon as it's over, Brock Lesnar comes out there, kicks the cage door in, and then he beats Kofi Kingston for the WWE title. But it could go that way and it could not. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen, because if Brock was going to win that Universal title, he would have won it by now with that briefcase. And of course from there we had the 50-man over the top battle royal, and they had people going. They had pretty much all the guys that we've seen on the main roster. They also had showed like the vignettes of R-Truth beating Jinder Mahal on the plane over to Saudi Arabia for that 24/7 title. And honestly, y'all, that title is just a comic relief. It's just something for the guys that we don't see on TV to do. And I'll admit, like I said, with friends that I've talked to, I did not like the design of that title, But I understand it's just something of a filler. So I don't have no high expectations for it. It is funny, but it's gonna get old after a while. But that's just my honest opinion. And so back to this 50-man battle royal. It came down to, I think, Samoa Joe and Ricochet and Mustafa Ali, Cesaro. This guy called Manasul or something. He's from over there in Saudi Arabia, and of course, Ricochet and Mustafa Ali, they eliminated Samoa Joe, which then allowed Cesaro to come from behind and eliminate those two guys. And then I think Elias, he threw out Cesaro. And then from there, we had Elias and this Manasul guy. I know I'm probably saying his name wrong, but he was able to eliminate Elias. And I would say this, Manasul, he went in that battle royal. I think the guy has a good look. He cut this really heartfelt promo at the end, thanking the crowd and thanking WWE for the opportunity. I think this guy has potential. He has a look to him. I think if he gained a little bit more muscle and weight on him, I think he can be something. You can repackage him, and I think that guy can do something big in the WWE. And of course, like I said, I've already reviewed the Goldberg and Undertaker match. That was at the beginning of this. I had to get that one out the way because I sometimes certain things you just cannot wait to talk about, And so, yeah. that's WWE for you. So I don't know. I'm going to pretend that this pay-per-view didn't exist, even though that's kind of difficult to do. But yeah, like I said, the matches that you want to go back and watch: Usos versus Revival on the pre-show, and then on the main pay-per-view, Shane McMahon versus Roman Reigns. Definitely watch that one. It was pretty good. And you can watch the Randy Orton one. I think that was pretty cool at the end. And don't watch the Goldberg one. I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyways, but I hope you all enjoyed this review. Let me know what you thought of this if you watched the show. Let me know your honest thoughts. I don't know how much I can put up with this from WWE. They're really fucking pushing my love for wrestling out the door. Hopefully, things can get better, but the hope is very, very slim. I have low expectations. I had it for this pay-per-view. I was hoping maybe they surprised me. They did in some cases, but at the end it fell flat. But anyways, I appreciate you guys for hanging in there. I'm gonna get this review to you guys and work on something else. I don't know. I'm gonna try to put up a gameplay video of Dauntless either probably tomorrow or something. We'll see. But you all take care and have a blissful weekend in case you don't see a video from me. Peace out.